With the eyes of the nation on the presidential election coming up in less than a week, Kamala Harris just secured a huge endorsement from a prominent Republican. Arnold Schwarzenegger took to Twitter writing, "I don't really do endorsements, I'm not shy about sharing my views, but I hate politics and don't trust most politicians. I also understand that people want to hear from me because I am not just a celebrity, I'm a former Republican governor. My time as governor taught me to love policy and ignore politics. I'm proud of the work I did to clean up our air, create jobs, balance the budget, make the biggest infrastructure investment in state history, and take power from the politicians and give it back to the people when it comes to our redistricting process and our primaries in California. That's policy. It requires working with the other side, not insulting them to win your next election. And I know it isn't sexy to most people, but I love it when I can help make people's lives better with policies like I still do through my institute at USC, where we fight for clean air and stripping the power from the politicians who rig the system against the people. Let me be honest with you. I don't like either party right now. My Republicans have forgotten the beauty of the free market, driven up deficits, and rejected election results. Democrats aren't any better at dealing with deficits, and I worry about their local policies hurting our cities with increased crime. It is probably not a surprise that I hate politics more than ever, which, if you're a normal person who isn't addicted to this crap, you probably understand. I want to tune out, but I can't, because rejecting the results of an election is as un-American as it gets. To someone like me who talks to people all over the world and still knows America is the shining city on a hill, calling America a trash can for the world is so unpatriotic it makes me furious. And I will always be an American before I am a Republican. That's why this week I am voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I'm sharing it with all of you because I think there are a lot of you who feel like I do. You don't recognize our country, and you are right to be furious. For decades, we've talked about the national debt. For decades, we've talked about comprehensive immigration reform that secures our border while fixing our broken immigration system. And Washington does nothing. The problems just keep rolling, and we all keep getting angrier because the only people that benefit from problems aren't you, the people. The only people that benefit from this crap are the politicians who prefer having talking points to win elections to the public service that will make Americans' lives better. It is just a game to them. But it is life for my fellow Americans. We should be pissed. But a candidate who won't respect your vote unless it is for him, a candidate who will send his followers to storm the Capitol while he watches with a Diet Coke, a candidate who has shown no ability to work to pass any policy besides a tax cut that helped his donors and other rich people like me, but helped no one else, a candidate who thinks Americans who disagree with him are the bigger enemies than China, Russia, or North Korea, that won't solve our problems. It will just be 4 more years of bullshit with no results that make us angrier and angrier, more divided, and more hateful. We need to close the door on this chapter of American history, and I know that former President Trump won't do that. He will divide, he will insult, he will find new ways to be more un-American than he already has been, and we the people will get nothing but more anger. That's enough reason for me to share my vote with all of you. I want to move forward as a country, and even though I have plenty of disagreements with their platform, I think the only way to do that is with Harris and Walz. Vote this week, turn the page, and put this junk behind us. And even if you disagree with me, vote, because that's what we do as Americans. Vote.org. Now, you might be asking why yet another Republican endorsing Kamala Harris is big news. Well, look at the favorability ratings among male voters, a certain subset of the population that's especially important in this election. Arnold Schwarzenegger is ranked at number 3 overall, only behind Samuel L. Jackson and Shaq. And well, there was also this.
All right. They say you can always tell a Morehouse man, but you can't tell him much. But you can trust a Morehouse man to tell you the truth. Georgia, here's what we have to say to those who would doubt our voice, doubt our power, doubt our vote. This part is over. Like my brother Spike's gonna tell you, we've been turning out, we've been turning up, but we can't stop now. Georgia, we got 12 days to choose which way our country is going to go from here, which way our future is going to go from here. That's why I'm so fired up to be here with y'all. And that's why I'm so proud to support our next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
All of which is to say, Kamala is racking up endorsements from 2 significant categories. First, from celebrities that command massive, massive followings like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Charlie XCX, people who are able to leverage their stardom and actually activate their fans to register to vote. Remember, Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris sent a staggering 405,000 people to vote.gov to register in just the 24 hours after her endorsement. So I get that people wave off celebrity endorsements because most of them don't matter, and that's probably true that most of them don't matter. But some of them do matter, especially the ones where an Instagram post alone converts 500,000 Americans into registered voters. But the second category is one that the Harris campaign has also been especially focused on, and that is Republicans. And it's not just Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was literally the Republican governor of the biggest state in America, and a popular one at that. There's also Liz and Dick Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, Stephanie Grisham, Olivia Troy, Anthony Scaramucci, Jeff Flake, Cassidy Hutchinson. Here's an ad put together by Republican Voters Against Trump, giving a permission structure to other Republican voters in this country who recognize the importance of deferring to democracy over political identification.
I'm a two-time Trump voter.
I'm a former Trump voter.
And in 2024, I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Harris is a former prosecutor.
She's smart.
I love her energy.
She will support our democratic institutions.
She will put her country first.
Harris is going to be better for this nation than Trump.
I will be voting for Kamala Harris.
In 2024, I will be proudly voting for Kamala Harris.
And let's be clear, Kamala herself has made this a priority. Here's what she had to say about Republicans just yesterday at her historic speech at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C.
Well, see, this is the thing, because we know we're actually fighting for a democracy. And unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table. And I pledge to be a president for all Americans and to always put country above party and self.
Trump has made punishing people who don't agree with his policies the cornerstone of his campaign. Kamala has made courting people who don't agree with her policies the cornerstone of hers. And therein lies the major difference here. Trump wants total power. He wants zero dissent. He wants to flex his autocratic muscles and silence his opponents for good. Those are not the qualities of someone who is fit to lead this country. They're the qualities of a dictator, an autocrat, and yes, a fascist. So please, spare me the pearl clutching about calling Donald Trump a fascist. If he doesn't want to be called a fascist, he shouldn't act like one. He shouldn't threaten to send the military into American cities. He shouldn't try to seize voting machines. He shouldn't vow to terminate the Constitution. He shouldn't promise to be a dictator on day one. He shouldn't call his political opponents vermin and enemies of the people. Not for nothing, but if you don't want to draw comparisons to Hitler, perhaps don't echo his exact words. Just, for starters. And of course, if you truly take issue with those comparisons, then I'd recommend you take it up with Donald Trump's own running mate, J.D. Vance, who himself called Trump America's Hitler. And if Vance had even an ounce of integrity, he probably wouldn't be sharing the ticket with the guy who he said this about.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
It makes you think that at a fundamental level, this is sort of a he said, she said, right? And at the end of the day, do you believe Donald Trump, who always tells the truth? Just kidding. Or do you believe that woman on that tape?
No, I cannot stand Trump because I think he's a fraud. Well, I think he's a total fraud that is exploiting these people, who is a total fraud.
Like you said, I agree with you on Trump because I don't think that he's the person. I don't think he actually cares about folks.
There is definitely an element of Donald Trump's support that has its basis in racism or xenophobia.
I think there's a chance, if I feel like Trump has a really good chance of winning, that I might have to hold my nose and vote for Hillary Clinton. I think that I'm going to vote third party because I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
The reason that so many Republicans have abandoned Donald Trump is because of exactly what J.D. Vance used to say before he joined the cult and displayed the obligatory slavish devotion to the God King. So good on those few Republicans who have managed to come out and endorse Kamala Harris, including Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. And while I fully recognize that no one Republican is going to command some massive base, the fact is that in aggregate, all of these people together do offer a permission structure to Republican voters out there who recognize what Jeff Duncan said at the DNC.
Let me be clear to my Republican friends at home watching. If you vote for Kamala Harris in 2024, you're not a Democrat, you're a patriot.
Before you go, just a quick note, if you'd like to see more of my content, which is always free of advertising, sponsorships, and paywalls, please make sure to subscribe to this channel using the subscribe button right here on the screen. And if you'd like to support my work even further, you can grab a copy of my instant #1 New York Times selling book, Shameless, available for sale right now. That link is also on the screen. Thanks so much for watching.